Why hello there my fellow brothers, sisters, gamers, and anime lovers. Buster here again with another reaction video. And if you're wondering, what's that thing hanging on your wall right there, the new thing that you got that changed places with the calendar poster? I drew that. I drew that and had it printed out as a art project in my college times. 2019 actually. It was a wild year, and I'm glad I was able to graduate. It was timely. I never knew that something like 2020 could happen in our lifetime, but I'm thankful, and I apologize for those who couldn't walk down the aisle themselves. It is an experience. It is a good experience to graduate from college and walking down that aisle and grabbing your and have get your diploma handed out to you and feel good about yourself that you worked hard to reach that level and finish your education. Remember, guys, finish your education, go to school, do well, and you'll have a better life than the usual. Because it being smart is a good thing for everyone, and not talk out your ass in so many ways. It's just so infuriating to hear people spout nonsense that they don't do their due research and just basically just say something completely and utterly false. I hate those kinds of people, basically. But I'm willing to listen. If it's true, then I will take that under advisement and check it out myself and see if the validity is true. And if it is, I admit that people can be wrong, and that's not a bad thing, depending on how badly you done wrong. But still, that's your public service announcement from your fellow friendly neighborhood buster. So basically, thank you guys for always following the AI presidents. Although I'm taking a back seat from the AI presidents because there's been a flood of it on the channel, and I'm taking a break a few times. So this is one of the few times I will be uploading an AI precedence video. Sorry for the 2-minute rant, but that's it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you really want to. It's really up to you. This is US Presidents Recap Five Nights at Freddy's 1 to 3 FNAF lore. Looks like this is Joe's time to show us how smart he is and how well versed he is at the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's see what happens.
Day would never come, gentlemen.
So
I thought the day would never come, gentlemen.
this is where everything comes together.
This is what we come back to. We've had pre-recorded videos in the past 2 weeks, and within that time, a coup broke out in Moscow. Lies were sworn on my name. Joe said something about the Queen in Connecticut, and a damn submarine imploded. And this is what we come back to?
Pretty much.
We are a joke of a country. Well, I hope you're ready to answer some questions, Joe, because I have a stockpile of them like a news panel.
I'll do my best. Something that I want you guys to keep in mind is that not everything may be 100% accurate. Some of these points I'll make are solely based on speculation and theories, and some people may disagree. On top of that, there are typically some plot holes within all this, and I also may forget some minor details that the comments may correct.
Geez, I just looked at the screen. It looks like a Buick manual.
Moving on, let's start at the very beginning. Fredbear's family diner was opened. It had 2 animatronics, Fredbear and Bonnie.
So there's only 2 originally. If you guys are wondering, I know a bit of the lore, and I welcome this fresh perspective on the lore. And there's a lot I don't know, and Joe might be more informative than usual. Let's see what happens here.
Who the hell are they?
Use your eyes, Don. Golden Freddy and Springtrap.
Wait, Golden Freddy and Springtrap were the original animatronics?
Right, Fredbear's was referenced in the second game. And we know that those were the 2 animatronics there because of this mini game.
All right, that makes sense.
How? One night, Fredbear was giving cake to kids. A child was left outside crying, most likely not being invited to the party. As a result, a purple figure drives by and kills the child outside.
Man, you could just do anything in the 80s without repercussions.
Correction already, Joe. Sorry for this, but we're jumping into the future. That was actually the child of... Who was the guy again? The creator of the animatronics. I have a brain fart moment, but I have to say that it's the child of the... the voice of the pizza simulator, Five Nights at Freddy's 6. So basically, William Afton's partner. So I don't know what his name. I want to look it up, but I don't want to draw it out for too long. So there's the first correction over there.
That was still very much a crime, Don.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying you could do anything. We weren't in the field of advancement, so you could just run around and shoot people like the Zodiac.
That's just not true.
Who told you that? The Zodiac?
Moving on. After that incident, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie were retired and their costumes were shelved into storage rooms.
Or I may be wrong and I'm talking out of my ass because I don't know that time, because there's a lot of things, it's so jumbled up together I can't even tell. But I think she was the first victim of William Afton. Am I wrong or am I right? And somehow the puppet, there was a puppet already, the security puppet, but in lore, the puppet was introduced after the first massacre, yeah? I don't even know anymore. Stupid. I need to cut that out. I really do.
One night, Fredbear was giving cake to kids. A child was left outside crying, most likely not being invited to the party.
Ooh.
As a result, a purple figure drives by and kills the child outside.
William Afton.
Man, you could just do anything in the 80s without repercussions.
That was still very much a crime, Don.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying you could do anything. We weren't in the field of advancement, so you could just run around and shoot people like the Zodiac.
That's just not true.
Who told you that? The Zodiac?
Moving on. After that incident, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie were retired and their costumes were shelved into storage rooms.
So that's what happened to him.
Right. Because of the incident,
Okay.
the restaurant wanted to rebrand to represent an entirely different company, separated from the murder. The diner was replaced by Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. With that restaurant are the animatronics, Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and the Marionette.
You're telling me
Puppet.
Freakazoid was here before the new shiny toys?
That's what I'm getting from this.
Okay.
Crack were they snorting to think that adding a mime on a diet was a good idea?
Probably
It's a security
yours.
puppet.
Speaking of that mime on a diet, you remember the kid that got killed, right?
Yeah?
Well, grab your EMF readers because the soul of that child actually went on to possess the very same puppet.
I think possessing a lug nut would have been better than that.
I don't think possessing anything is the preference.
Now, the murder outside that restaurant was no coincidence. We know the purple guy had access to the restaurant during this time span.
Right.
Now, something to note here is that Fredbear and Spring Bonnie were
I guess I'm keeping up the first section in because I think I was right. It was the partner of William Afton's daughter that got massacred right there in the freaking first minigame.
both animatronics and wearable suits.
Like a Muppet,
How does that relate to a Muppet?
because you can wear Big Bird in everything.
That's Sesame Street.
Chica and Big Bird are strikingly similar, that's all I'm saying.
Anyways, the phone guy said something
Hardly.
about someone using a yellow suit for some unknown reason. Put two and two together, and you can assume that purple guy put on the spring-lock Bonnie suit and went on a killing spree, murdering 5 more children.
Damn.
They should have just shut down the first time.
As a businessman, I'm surprised you said that.
As a moral man, you shouldn't be.
Now back to the puppet.
Oh.
We know that the original kid that died possessed the puppet. So when the 5 other kids got slaughtered, the puppet quite literally gave them life. This is evident in the mini-games.
So wait, purple guy stuffed them in the suits and then the puppet allowed their souls to live?
That's not explained as of yet.
Yeah.
With that being said, each kid lives again through an animatronic, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy.
Our original cast.
So is this when the original game took place?
No, this is still before the restaurant reopened. However, Phone Guy confirms that the old restaurant was left to rot and was even closed down for years due to unknown circumstances. And with that, he also implies that the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was built off of an old location.
Got it.
And so the restaurant was reopened in 1987. Besides the puppet, the old animatronics
What the hell
were
is
brought
that picture
from
right
the old
there?
location and dumped in the parts and service. Golden
Springtrap.
Freddy and
What happened?
Springtrap are placed in a hidden room only known to certain people. The puppet was placed inside a gift box to give prizes to kids. Older parts of the animatronics were used
Oh, the
inside their
prequel.
toy counterparts. Toy Foxy was ripped up by toddlers and became known as the Mangle. And Balloon Boy was made as an entirely new character.
So a clean slate.
Like declaring bankruptcy.
Yeah, because money and murder are both the same.
They're interlinked, at least.
Now, because the restaurant reopened,
Shut
the
it,
day shift
Brock.
guard was hired at the pizzeria. Phone guy was also hired around this time, but the exact date is unknown.
Are you starting to make sense of this, Obama?
A little bit. What about you?
Not in the slightest. But I'm still amazed that this place was around for as long as it was. 6 murders, and they still had business flow through like a waterfall.
Finally, Jeremy Fitzgerald, the second game's night guard, was hired to work for 5 nights. As the week progressed, the animatronics got more and more active.
Are any of the killings out to the public? Are we just in a world where nobody cares?
I thought I remember hearing about rumors going around, so it definitely seems like people knew.
He also talks about an investigation going on, so something was catching wind. And the reason why was because Purple Guy went and killed 5 more children and stuffed
that's
them in
10.
the new toy animatronics.
11?
This is what happens when you defund the police, everybody.
I think the slum run is intrinsic to the name policeman.
After working all 5 nights, the night guard, Jeremy, was supposed to take the next night off due to the place being closed down. But he never got the news.
Some great internal communication going on at Fazbear Entertainment.
Damn.
Phone guy calls
Night
Jeremy,
off.
panicking about what he's done. He informs Jeremy to work through the night and that he would also be working during the day as well. Every single animatronic, besides Springtrap,
That's scary.
hunts him down. But he's able to hold off.
And this is where he goes to work during the day, right?
Right. Jeremy ends up pulling a double and working the day shift. Per the phone guy's instructions, Jeremy was supposed to stay close to the animatronics to make sure they didn't hurt anybody.
Oh, no.
And that's when all hell broke loose.
Exactly. During the day shift, an unknown animatronic, possibly Mangle or Foxy, bit someone in the head. This would be known as the bite of 87, and the phone guy would reference this in the first game.
Someone from the mob couldn't even orchestrate this.
Might as well just nuke the damn city. All of it's gone to hell.
While it's never confirmed who the victim was, it was heavily implied it was Jeremy.
You can't do that.
Phone guy instructed Jeremy to stay close to animatronics during his day shift. And during the custom night, there was another night guard named Fritz.
Where did Fritz even come from?
Why the hell would Jeremy agree to a double shift at this crap shack anyways? More importantly, why the hell is the other guy's name Fritz?
You discover who Fritz is after beating a custom night, to which we never did. Supposedly, he tampered with the animatronics and was later fired because of it. Considered unsalvageable, the toy animatronics were scrapped.
Did he
This
attempt
feels like the
to
Gotham
break
City
them
of
down?
restaurants.
Chuck E. Cheese be damned.
A few years later, the restaurant reopened with a smaller budget. The original animatronics from the old days were restored, besides the puppet, and they were put in the pizzeria.
Who the hell is approving this place to open back up?
The Better Business Bureau was most likely run by Jim Carrey in the 90s.
Oh, that makes sense.
Now,
No,
when the
do
animatronics
not
are being
mock
recovered from the old restaurant, they
acting
also
legend
found
Jim
Springtrap
Carrey.
and Golden Freddy. They were put back into another safe room for parts.
I'm starting to think this is one giant South Park episode.
I think even for them, it's a stretch.
If you're wondering why I'm a fan of Jim Carrey, and no, it's not because he was Eggman in the Sonic. I followed that guy for a very long time, from Ace Ventura to freaking Grinch, and then The Mask, and then a lot more in between. I don't know his other projects. Those are the well-known I've watched about him, and then what was that? Bruce Almighty, and then we get Eggman. That's all I've watched of him. There are barely any other films that I knew of him, and I wish there were more, but he's retired, and I don't know if Sonic 3 is gonna come out. But without Eggman, I don't know what will happen.
Phone guy begins filling in as the security guard at the revamped location and starts pre-recording messages for the new security guard, Mike. Unfortunately, his last week turned out to be catastrophic as he winds up being the victim of the animatronics.
Make that 12 deaths.
Well, wait, the hell happened to his body?
If you can remember, he was talking about animatronics, thinking that the guard is an endoskeleton and they would stuff him into a suit.
And no one checked for his rotting corpse?
You should have smelled at least.
You're forgetting where you're at. It would be weird for it not to smell like rotting flesh.
Can't even argue there.
Mike was then hired to work another week. He was able to survive the chaos, but was fired after the 7th day.
What an overtime reward.
At least he lived. The other guy wasn't so lucky.
This is where the heat turns up.
Okay.
One by one, the purple guy destroyed the animatronics, presumably to get rid of any remaining evidence of the kids. But this allowed the kids' souls to escape from their prison and haunt the purple guy.
Karma delivers some piping hot knuckle sandwiches.
As Purple Guy was being haunted by their souls, he ran inside Spring Bonnie to hide. His hopes were to cause the souls of the kids to be dismayed at seeing what caused their death. However, a circuit malfunction resulted in the springs locking and crushing Purple Guy in the process. As he lay to rot, the kids' souls were put to rest, free from their eternal torment.
What a wild ride.
You're telling me this is Jeffrey Bezos' level of evil?
30 years later, a horror attraction was established to commemorate the
30
mysterious
years?
events that surrounded the restaurant.
That
Certainly
long?
nothing bad could happen from that.
The company didn't find much besides old relics to start off with, until they contacted one of the construction workers that finished the original building. He gives them the blueprint to the restaurant, and that's when they discovered the safe room with Springtrap corroding away.
It's like they opened King Tut's tomb and released his curse.
Yep.
Once the company transported Springtrap to the attraction, the security guard was in a fight for his life to keep him on the other side of the building. Hallucinations also began to ensue, mainly seeing creatures from the restaurant's past.
These security guards have to be the unluckiest people on earth.
Or
Yep.
luckiest since they survived.
Luckily, the worker survived and was even able to escape the facility after
Oh.
the place burned down for unknown reasons. Any remaining objects were sold via auction.
If he had any sense, he would have just burned it himself.
And as the final piece of everything, Springtrap is seen in the shadows of the newspaper clippings, elaborating that he survived with an unknown fate ahead. And that is the full recapped
Nice.
of the three
A
Five
few
Nights
things
at
got
Freddy's
cleared up for
games.
me.
Wow.
You know, I was actually joking when I said this was as in-depth as The Lord of the Rings. I didn't know it challenged me to that.
I mean it when I say it. We have 5 more games to go. What do you think that implies? Exactly. We're just at the tip of the iceberg.
If that's the case,
Naughty
on to FNAF
silence.
4.
Someone help me.
Can't wait for FNAF 4. You're gonna get screwed, Donnie. You're gonna get screwed so hard. Oh, and the horrifying designs of FNAF 4 made it actually worse than before, with the more jagged teeth and the decaying look and the red eye for freaking Chica. It really made them more menacing. Seeing their endoskeleton and their glowing eyes, it really would just wanna. I'm even gonna wonder if they're gonna play Joy of Creation. If anyone has any ideas, put a comment down below and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, smash the like button to get this video up there. And I am running out of things to say. This is not scripted, of course. You're getting me raw, and don't take that out of context. You're getting the raw reactions from me. So basically, I am really just surprised at all the lore and some of the things. There are missing gaps, and there's still missing gaps that are never filled at all. But still, it's nice to hear Joe speak coherently and filled with more information on horror games than anyone could care to count. But still, hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you again in the next video. Buster here, finally signing out.